What's up you guys, it's Deep over here and today we will see how to create this awesome smoke text effect in Photoshop. Now if you guys also have any tutorial requests then you can drop them in the comments below. We will surely try to create videos on those as well. Also if you want to keep learning how to create such cool things in Photoshop for free, then make sure you smash that subscribe button if you haven't already. So without wasting any more time of yours, let's get started. So let's first start by creating a new document. So for that go to File and then select the option as New. And then you can set the width and height accordingly, or else you can set it as follows. Width as around 3840 pixels, height as around 2160 pixels, and then set the resolution as around 300 pixels per inch and then click on Create. Now the next thing we need to do is fill the document with that of a nice background color. So for that click on Create New Fill or Adjustment Layer icon and then select the option as Gradient. Now in the pop-up you need to click on the gradient icon, which will give you another pop-up in order to select the gradient. Now over here we will be creating a custom gradient. So for that select the gradient as black and white. And then you need to double click on the leftmost bottom color stop, which will again give you a pop-up in order to select the color. And then set the color as follows: 373737. And then you can click on OK. After that you need to double click on the rightmost bottom color stop and then set the color as black. And then you can click on OK. After that you can click on OK. So once you have created your gradient, after that you need to set the style as radial, angle as 45 degree, and then you can set the scale as around 110%. After that you can click on OK. So now as you can see, now we have filled the document with that of a nice gradient color. Now the next thing we need to do is add some smoke kind of effect onto this background. So for that we need to set the foreground color and the background color to black and white respectively. And if it is not set to those colors, then all you need to do is press the D key of your keyboard and the foreground color will be set to black color and the background color will be set to white color. So now as you can see, now after pressing the D key of the keyboard, the foreground color has been set to black color and the background color has been set to white color. Now after that we need to create a new layer. So for that click on Create New Layer icon and then we need to go to Filter and then Render and then select the option as Clouds over there. So as you can see, it has created some clouds using the foreground and the background color. Now after that you need to set the blend mode of this layer to overlay. So let me just do that. So as you can see, now our document is looking somewhat like this. Now let me just show you the before and after of the smoke effect. So this was the before and now this is the after. So as you can see, it is giving the background some smoke kind of effect. Now the next thing we need to do is type in our text. So for that select horizontal type tool and then you can select any font of your choice. Download link for the font I'm choosing is in the description below. Also if you don't know how to install font in Photoshop, the link for that is in the description as well. And then you can set any appropriate size for your text. I'm setting it to 250 point. And then you can click on the foreground color and then set any random color at the moment, which will be the color of our text. Anyways we are going to remove it later on, so I'm setting the color as white at the moment and then you can click on OK. After that, using the horizontal type tool, you can click on the document and then type in any text of your choice. So once you are done typing the text, after that you can click on the stick icon in order to place it. Now the next thing we need to do is place this text at the center of the document. So for that press Ctrl or Command on Mac and then click on this background layer, which will give you the selection of the background layer as well as keep the selection of the text layer active. And then select Move tool and then click on Align Horizontal Centers and then click on Align Vertical Centers. So now as you can see, now the text has been placed at the center of the document. Now after that you need to make the smoke text layer active by clicking on it. After that we need to drag this text a little bit below so that we have some more room for our smoke at the top. So for that you can use your down arrow key of your keyboard in order to drag this text a little bit below. So let me just do that. So this position of the text is looking proper. Now after that we need to convert this text layer into a smart object so that later on we can edit it non-destructively. So for that right click on this text layer and then select the option as convert to smart object. So as you can see, once your text layer has been converted into a smart object, the icon of your layer will look something like this. So once you have converted your text layer into a smart object, now the next thing we need to do is set the fill of this layer to 0%. So let me just do that. So now as you can see, after setting the fill of this layer to 0%, your text is no more visible, but it is still present over there at the same position. Now after that, we need to start with the smoke effect for our text. So for that, click on add layer style icon and then select the option as inner glow. Now in the pop-up, you need to set the blend mode as normal, opacity as 100%, noise as 0%, click on the color icon and then set the color as white, technique as softer, source as edge, choke to 0% and then set the size to around 45 pixels. And then you can keep the rest of the settings as default. Now let me just show you the before and after of this inner glow option. So this was the before and now this is the after. So as you can see, it gives such a nice smoke kind of effect near the edges of the text. Now we need some kind of effect inside of the text as well. So for that, select the option as set in and then over there you need to set the blend mode as linear dodge. Click on the color icon and then set the color as white, opacity as 20%, angle as 25 degree, distance as around 40 pixels and then set the size to around 20 pixels. And then you can keep the rest of the settings as default. Now let me just show you the before and after of this set in effect. So this was the before and now this is the after. Now we need to add some glow surrounding the text so that our edges don't look much sharper. So for that, select the option as outer glow and then you need to set the blend mode as normal, opacity as around 80%, noise as 0%, click on the color icon and then set the color as white, technique as softer, spread as 0% and then set the size to around 20 pixels. And then you can keep the rest of the settings as default. Now let me just show you the before and after of this outer glow option. So this was the before and now this is the after. After that, you can click on OK. So once you are done adding all the effects to your text should look something like this. Now the next thing we need to do is add some blurriness to our text. So for that, go to filter and then blur and then select the option as Gaussian blur. Now in the pop-up, you need to set the radius of the Gaussian blur to around 10 pixels. Now let me just show you the before and after of this Gaussian blur filter. So this was the before and now this is the after. After that, you can click on OK. And now since our smoke will be going in some upward direction, we need to add some motion blur as well. So for that, go to filter and then blur and then select the option as motion blur. Now in the pop-up, you need to set the angle as around 90 degree and then set the distance to around 140 pixels. Now let me just show you the before and after of this motion blur filter. So this was the before and now this is the after. After that, you can click on OK. Now we need to reduce these filters from the lower portion of the text and only keep it on the upper portion of the text itself. So for that, you need to make the mask of the smart filters active by clicking on it. So as you can see, as you click on it, that square box shifts onto the smart filter mask layer. Now after that, you need to select brush tool and then you need to click on the drop down over here and then select the brush as soft round and then you need to set the flow and the opacity of the brush to 100% and then click on the foreground color and then set the color as black. And then using the brush tool, you need to click and hover over the areas where you want to remove that filter. So let me just do that. So now as you can see, now we have completely removed those filters from the lower portion of the text and have only kept it on the upper portion itself. Now let me just show you the before and after of what we just did. So this was the before and now this is the after. So as you can see, after removing those filters from the lower portion of the text, our text has started to look a bit more sharper towards the lower end and we need to solve that thing. So for that, all you need to do is set the density of this layer mask to around 80%. So let me just do that. Now let me just show you the before and after of what we just did. So this was the before and now this is the after. So as you can see, now it is looking much better. Now the next thing we need to do is add some smoke towards the upper portion of the text. So for that we need to create a new layer by clicking on create new layer icon and then select brush tool and then click on the toggle brush panel icon and then go to the brushes section and then you can select any smoke brush of your choice. Download link for the smoke brush I am choosing is in the description below and then go to the brush settings option. So you can select any random smoke brush which suits for your text. So let me just do that. So once you have selected your smoke brush, after that you need to set the flow of the brush to around 60% and then you need to click on the foreground color and then set the color as white. And then using the brush tool, you need to click on the document where you want to add some smoke. You can increase and decrease the size of the brush using the square bracket keys of your keyboard. Also, if you want to rotate the brush, then you can rotate it from this dial over here. So once the size and the direction of the brush looks proper, after that you can click on the document in order to add some smoke. So let me just do that. So as you can see, as you click on the document, it adds some nice smoke over here. So like this way you need to fill the entire text with that of the smoke. But for that you need to keep on changing the brush. Also you need to keep on changing the size of the brush and the direction of the brush as well. So now let me just fill the whole text. So once you have filled the entire text with that of the smoke and if it looks proper, then you can close this pop-up by clicking on the cross icon over here. Now the next thing we need to do is remove the extra smoke which we have added but we don't need it over here. So for that you need to click on add layer mask icon. So as you can see, as you click on add layer mask icon, it adds a layer mask onto the smoke layer. After that you need to select brush tool and then you need to click on the drop down over here and then select the brush as soft round and then you need to click on the foreground color and then set the color as black and then you can set the opacity of the brush to 100% and set the flow of the brush to around 60% and then using the brush tool you need to hover over the areas where you want to remove that extra smoke. You can increase and decrease the size of the brush using the square bracket keys of your keyboard. Now let me just remove some smoke. So now as you can see, now our text is looking somewhat like this. So now you can take your own time and then remove the smoke more precisely. Now let me just show you the before and after of what we just did. So this was the before and now this is the after. So now as you can see, it is looking so much better. So yeah, that's it guys. That's the final image. I hope you guys like this video on how to create this smoke text effect in Photoshop. Now if you guys like this video, then give us a thumbs up. It helps us in deciding what kinds of topic you want to watch more. Also you can share it to the ones who might be interested in such videos. And subscribe to the channel for more videos in Photoshop. Thanks for watching. See you in the next one.